Imagine trying to sleep inside a giant computer. There's a constant buzz of electricity, a whirring fan, beeps and chimes, and crackling static. Now put that computer in orbit and add the blinding light of a sunrise every 30 minutes, and you've got some sense of what astronauts go through on the International Space Station. So how do astronauts get any sleep? And what can we learn from them to help us sleep better here on Earth? Hi, I'm Dr. Vanessa Hill, and I'm a sleep scientist, and this is Space for Humans. Let's start with a little story we'll call Houston, we have a bedtime. It's getting late on the International Space Station, and our astronaut is feeling very sleepy. He lets Mission Control know that he's heading to bed, dims the lights in his quarters, and maybe does a few relaxation exercises. "Good night, Earth," he says. "Good night, Moon. Good night, Sun. I'll see you again way too soon." His personal sleeping pod is about the size of a phone booth. He straps in and zips himself snugly into a sleeping bag tethered to the wall so he doesn't drift away. Air conditioning keeps the temperature around a pleasant 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and airflow vents make sure that carbon dioxide doesn't build up around his head. He wears an eye mask to keep out the light and earplugs to dampen the sound. And as he drifts off to sleep, counting extraterrestrial sheep, his arms float out in front of him like a zombie. And there you go, zombie Z's in 0G. Of course, in real life, astronaut bedtime doesn't go quite so smoothly. Research shows that astronauts don't get as much sleep as mission planners hope to maintain the crew's health and safety. On Earth, adults are advised to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep for optimal health. NASA's own standards allot 8 hours for crew sleep every day. But in reality, astronauts typically manage around 6 hours of sleep per night. And that's not good, because astronauts wake up to big jobs in high-pressure environments. We face a lot of obstacles in improving astronauts' sleep. To start, the ISS is constantly racing around the Earth at about 17,500 miles per hour, completing one orbit every 90 minutes. That means every single day includes 16 sunrises and sunsets. Literally every 45 minutes, the sun is either setting or rising. And that sun isn't like the one we know, gently filtered by the Earth's atmosphere. The sun astronauts see through the ISS window is a shockingly bright white light. It's no wonder that astronauts face problems with their circadian rhythm. This tells you things like when to go to sleep and when to get up, and is regulated by your body's internal clock. Your circadian rhythm also impacts a lot of other things that are important to good health, like digestion and body temperature. According to recent studies, astronauts experience circadian misalignment on about 20% of days during standard ISS missions. Aside from the light, it's also incredibly noisy. Remember the giant computer analogy? The ISS is full of complex systems operating at high capacity, and they make quite a racket. And that's not including the snoring of your fellow crew member, because yes, you can still snore in space. Light pollution? Check. Noise? Check. Stress from a challenging work-life balance? Well, astronauts literally live where they work, so definitely check. You see, many of the problems faced by astronauts are the same ones that keep us tossing and turning on Earth. And then you add microgravity. Despite the fact that more than 40% of us report dreams about flying, actually trying to sleep while flying is no dream. Studies show that microgravity causes changes in sleep stages. Most importantly, it can cause reductions in the stages of deep sleep and REM sleep, both vital for physical and mental health. Good restorative sleep is important for everyone. It gives us the time we need to rest and recharge and be ready to face the next sunrise. Now, imagine life on the ISS when they'll face at least 8 sunrises before the next bedtime. Astronauts wake up to demanding jobs in an environment that is still pretty dangerous. Chronic sleep deprivation can impair memory, slow reaction times, and dampen moods, all important to the successful functioning of a crew. Circadian misalignment, which is when your circadian rhythm gets out of whack, can also aggravate what's called sleep inertia. Think back to middle school. Do you remember Newton's first law of motion?
Newton's first law states that an object will remain still or moving in a straight line unless something pushes or pulls on it. This is called inertia.
It's the same idea, only you're the mind and body at rest that wants to stay at rest. It's also the research focus of a fellow Aussie sleep scientist, Dr. Cassie Hilditch.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cassie Hilditch, a senior research associate at San Jose State University. Most of my research involves sleep inertia. But what is sleep inertia? Well, have you ever woken up feeling worse than you did before you went to bed? Maybe you woke up feeling groggy or a little grumpy. Well, that's what we call sleep inertia. And it's basically when our brain is transitioning from sleep to wake. These symptoms can feel worse if you're woken up in the middle of the night or from a really deep sleep, or if you haven't had very good sleep in the past couple of nights. And most of us will experience the symptoms for 20 to 30 minutes. And during that time, we're getting ready for our day in our house. But for workers who nap on shift or work on call, they may need to make really important decisions immediately after waking. So think about a surgeon who is napping on a really long night shift, or a firefighter who gets a call in the middle of the night. These people need to respond to emergency situations and perform at their best immediately after waking.
So how is NASA tackling these challenges to help their astronauts get better sleep? Let's start with circadian rhythm. Maintaining a stable circadian rhythm in orbit is not just about comfort, it's critical for safety and performance. In the days leading up to launch, astronauts are trained to sync to the ISS Earth time zone. It's the same as Greenwich Mean Time. So if it's 5 o'clock in London, it's 5 o'clock in orbit, and probably also 5 o'clock in Margaritaville. On board, they use solid-state light assemblies, or SSLAs. Basically, they're super adjustable LED lamps. They can shift in colour and intensity throughout each 24-hour period to mimic the standard day-night cycle. In the evening, the lights are turned to be a gentle, warm hue, mimicking an Earth sunset and signalling that it's time to wind down. In the morning, the lights transition to a bright, blue-enriched tone to stimulate wakefulness. NASA also plans missions to account for morning grogginess. Nothing mission-critical happens in the morning. Think about how you start your day, maybe taking a moment to sit with a cup of coffee and do the Wordle. Well, it's the same for astronauts. And that's true about the coffee. Strong coffee is available on the ISS. They even have an espresso machine up there. NASA also trains its astronauts in good sleep habits. Sleep education covers timing of exercise, managing light from devices, and even diet choices to promote better sleep. That's right, even astronauts get lectures on avoiding late-night caffeine and screen glare. For the really tough nights, psychologists teach the astronauts cognitive behavioural therapy to combat insomnia. And fun fact, that's actually the gold standard treatment for insomnia down here on Earth. And when needed, prescription medications are available to help ease evening sleep and support daytime energy. Most of these strategies for good sleep come from things we've learned right here on Earth, researching how to conquer jet lag and support shift workers. So what can we learn from astronauts? A lot of the top advice will sound pretty familiar, but can be hard to put into practice. Coffee's good during the day, but cut back on caffeine in the late afternoon and at night. And I know this can be really hard, but try to use your phone to do something relaxing before bed, like perhaps watching an educational YouTube video, rather than a doom-scrolling spiral. And if you need to shake off the cobwebs, starting your morning with bright light, like they do on the ISS, is a great idea. Dr. Hilditch and her colleagues tested a pair of light-emitting goggles and found that people who wore them upon waking up during the night felt more alert and energetic. So even if it's dark outside, you can trick yourself into thinking it's daytime. Still feeling groggy? Try a NASA nap. NASA famously found that a 26-minute nap improves alertness and performance in pilots. It could be just the pickup for your afternoon needs. And last, but definitely not least, don't be afraid to rely on those little rituals or comforts that help you sleep. More than one astronaut has taken a stuffed animal into orbit. Just make sure to tuck your teddy bear in so they don't fall out of bed or float away. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more space for humans. I'm Dr. Vanessa Hill, and if you'd like to learn more about sleep on Earth, check out my videos on my channel BrainCraft. Oh, really? Sorry, I didn't know you were filming. Just waiting.